What's up, good people of the world? It's your man, the Big Heavy, and I'm coming to you today with something a little bit different. I know we like the trucks, the battery packs, the things that go boom, but come for that stuff, stay for the self-improvement. So I'm going to talk about books that changed my life and make this an ongoing series if you find it interesting. Throw something in the comments if you do, throw something in the comments if you don't. I'm going to make these short and sweet, and they are, books that I read that impacted me in some profound way, stayed with me, either gave me a tool for productivity, as is the case today, or maybe helped change my thinking, or generally did something cool. And I'm not going to give you an extensive book report. I'm not going to give you any huge spoilers. I'm going to tell you the couple takeaways, give you some details on the book, and maybe give you enough info that you want to go out and read it for yourself. So in this video, I'm going to talk about a book by David Allen called Getting Things Done. And it's about 280 pages, I believe. It takes, according to the gurus somewhere on the internet, about 5.5 hours to read. And what it's about is quite simply how to track and manage all the various things you have to get done in your life. And I'm someone, maybe you're like this, that never really was good at keeping track of all the things I need to get done. And frankly, for most of my life, I thought it was some sort of inherent personality flaw or some weird genetic disorder or something. I'd see people that were productive, that were able to just crush their to-do list. And I thought, I'm missing whatever weird gene sequence allows somebody to do that. I'm, to some extent a defective human and just need to consign myself to being disorganized and seemingly forgetful, and somebody that, for lack of a better phrase, just can't get their shit together all the time. And I read Getting Things Done, and it changed my perspective on that. And I'd say the book is probably 30% philosophy, maybe. Philosophy is not really the right word, but more psychology and kind of thoughts about productivity. And then 70% practical application. And that 70% is a very detailed and very specific task management process that David Allen lays out. As best I could tell from Amazon, the book was last updated in 2001, so that process is maybe a little bit dated. It doesn't really account for the fact that we now all have a computer in our pocket, but I think the system is still a good one. And for me, it was something that I followed very rigorously. I set up a task management tool on my computer and phone. Today, I've kind of deviated from that system a little bit, and I now use an app called Todoist that I'll link down in the comments. It's not something that I have any affinity or any association with. It's just something I use that I've found good and that I like. And I've kind of modified David Allen's system into something that works for me. The original me that read this book 10, 15 years ago, I followed that system very rigorously and very precisely. And that kind of got me out of my disorganized funk, so to speak, and gave me the foundation for modifying it. So if you're that type of person, maybe follow his system rather religiously until you kind of become a convert. But what really impacted me and what I want to talk about, and hopefully it encourages you to read the book, is that quasi-philosophical element of it. And what was really important to me and kind of the game changer there was he brings in this concept from martial arts of mind like water. And what he means by that is basically that people that are able to successfully manage their to-do list have an open mind, and they're receptive, they're in the moment, they're focused on what's going around them, instead of waking up in a sweaty panic at 3 a.m, remembering that something's due for school or for work or whatever the next day. He extols the virtues of the state, and I'm an absolute believer and advocate of that if you don't have, 10,000 things kind of floating around the back of your mind, constantly nagging you, you can focus on what's going on around you. You can be present, you can be engaged with the world because you're confident that all those little things are tracked, they're being managed, they're not going to fall through the cracks. So that's kind of philosophical point number one that really resonated with me. And where he bridges that into practical application is a simple idea that I'll share with you that's not a spoiler by any means. And that's, as soon as you think of something you need to do, write it down and capture it. And he has this idea of various inboxes. For me, my primary inbox is my phone. Again, I use that Todoist app. And as soon as I think of something, even if it's that 3 a.m, waking up in a panic, I just pick up my phone, I mash in what it is. I don't worry about categorizing it. I don't worry about processing it. I don't worry about thinking about it. And then it's logged. I do the same thing if my wife says, hey, can you do whatever? Or can you pick something up at the grocery store? Or if I get an email where I read it and I need to take some action, but I'm not going to do it right then and there, I pull out my phone, write down that thing, and then go through a cycle each day of kind of grooming that inbox and figuring out, all right, how do I need to categorize this? Do I need to do something else before I can do this job? How do I fit it into my system and workflow? And I start each day by reviewing what I've planned out for that day. And it's taken me, it's days or hours to implement. It's pretty easy. I think the thought change and kind of getting into that habit of routinely just capturing everything the second you hear about it and the second you think about it, and then grooming and managing that list on a daily basis is a habit that takes, a couple or 3 months to get into. This quite literally changed my life and made me a more productive and capable human. I don't forget stuff. I don't have those panic moments anymore where I'm waking up in the middle of the night, worrying that I forgot to turn off the water heater or something goofy. And that's wildly powerful. I mean, if you can just successfully manage the daily blocking and tackling of life, you can focus on all sorts of other stuff. I focus on doing these goofy YouTube videos while maintaining a day job, a side hustle, a family, all those other things. And I attribute that largely in part to my ability to just handle the daily blocking and tackling of life. It's kind of fun to be able to say that now as somebody that thought they were some kind of flawed human and just was fundamentally or genetically incapable of managing the daily blocking and tackling of life, and was kind of convicted to this or consigned to this life of not being able to do that stuff. So if you feel like that person, whether you're a student, whether you're retired, wherever you are in life, whatever your day-to-day responsibilities are, if you have even an iota of that feeling that, hey, I'm just not capable of living a productive and organized and structured life, not because I love structure and I'm some sort of, weird, militant, self-flagellating person, but because having enough structure allows me to do all the cool things that I really want to do. It allows me to focus on what's going on around me. Highly recommend this book. I'll put a link downstairs. Again, the only thing that I think hasn't aged particularly well since it hasn't been updated since I last read it is it doesn't take advantage of the tool we have in our pocket with a smartphone. So, try out his system. If you're a paper person, I think he recommends paper. Go for it. If you're not, like me, I would start with your smartphone. Highly recommend Todoist, but if you don't want to shell out whatever monthly fee there is, use the task phone already on your phone. I know Android comes with one, Apple comes with one, Outlook has one. So tons of options there. Just, like anything, get started, worry about the tools later. Start today with that mental shift and that new process that you ultimately refine and turn into something that helps your life. So hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully you will have many years of productivity and a mind like water ahead of you. And as always, be kind to each other. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And this is the Big Heavy saying, stay productive and peace. Ever wonder why every talking head on YouTube asks you to hit the like and subscribe button at the end of their video? You were right, because we're living in a computer simulation. And our benevolent robotic overlords get just a little bit of energy every time you hit that like. So do me, the rest of civilization, and our benevolent robotic overlords a favor. Mash that subscribe, be kind to each other, keep living your simulated dreams.